The biggest question that we have when we talk to our customers usually comes down to infrastructure.
Right now, cloud is the new topic. Everybody wants to go to the cloud. There are certain clients that cloud will be beneficial for. There's certain clients that on-prem will be beneficial for.
There's advantages and disadvantages to both, but we do offer both as a solution.
It depends on the circumstances of what you're trying to achieve. So it starts out with identifying what applications you use, what the purpose of those applications are.
There's no one glove fit all type of thing.
There's a lot of convenience with having cloud-based once the infrastructure is created.
You have 24/7 uptime with a bunch of failovers.
So when you're in an on-prem environment, a natural disaster or something, a flood or a fire can knock out your infrastructure. And when you go to the cloud, you get the redundancy of a proven cloud provider where they have multiple data centers, your data is backed up all over the place, and your downtime can be severely limited when it comes to something that knocks out your local infrastructure.
Going with the cloud is also very good because you have scalability options. So let's say you need a server, instead of going and buying a fancy server now, you can start off small, and then as your company grows, you can scale with it.
It's a smaller cost over a longer duration of time. It's a subscription model is really what it boils down to. So a lot of our customers, they don't have that capital up front, but they can support the month to month.
They have more hardware than you, they have better internet than you, and they have all the infrastructure in place to provide you the best possible connections to any and all remote users. If you have a lot of remote users, oftentimes a lot of remote users will benefit from connecting to a cloud environment because it's a centralized location. You can have an East Coast, West Coast, Central. You can have all different data centers that can work together to provide all your remote users a quicker and more reliable remote work environment.
The access element is huge, right? But on top of the access side, there is a security element. So we get to piggyback off of the security benefits of utilizing Microsoft to make sure that all this data is not only easily accessible, but also very, very secure. On-prem doesn't require a lot of that monthly subscription.
You pay one time for the server, it's a one-time fee. You own it, and you run everything off of that.
With a physical server, you can plug in a RAM chip and then add physical memory, which is a one-time cost.
One of the biggest concerns with going to the cloud is latency. You're not communicating with things that are right next to you anymore. Now you're communicating with something in a data center. You might be in Connecticut, you might be connecting to something in Virginia. So the communication just traveling between Virginia and Connecticut, you're going to experience a bit of a lag time or latency between the two. If you're in an environment where latency is absolutely crucial and you need the fastest response time possible, on-prem is probably the answer because you're working in a local environment. Everything's a lot more instantaneous. Now, the downside is then a lot more of the infrastructure relies on you. A lot of the reliability and the uptime is on your shoulders, your ISP, your local, whatever you can provide locally.
So sometimes, an on-prem might be a cheaper solution, but in the big scheme of things and for metrics, for measuring usage, cloud hosting gives you a lot better options as far as measuring usage and stuff like that.
You can have a hybrid environment where certain latency dependent applications or things that need to be local, there's large data transfers, or you need immediate access to large files. You don't want to work over the internet for certain things. You're limited by the throughput that your ISP provides. When you're dealing with large files, large transfers, or latency dependent applications, on-premises is really better. If you don't have any of those concerns, cloud is a very great option.
So every client is going to be unique. The cloud can make a lot of sense if they don't have that many, applications, if they're not running SQL servers, if they're not running all kinds of heavy resources on a server. Going to the cloud, it makes a lot of sense to get started that way.